it is true that in every market cycle, in every sector, there is somebody who is lucky, courageous, and dumb.
You spoke a lot about the junior market, and you've previously also mentioned that you expect next year, so 2022, to be the year of explorers because of decades long underinvestment in uranium exploration, I guess. So do you still believe next year to be the year where we see strong returns in explorers, or has your opinion somewhat changed?
I think we will see strong returns depending on what you characterize as strong returns. Too many people in the narrative now are expecting that they're going to see 10 baggers. I think you're going to see 3 baggers. Now, I personally believe that a 3 bagger over 5 years, 35% compound internal rate of return, something like that, particularly given that it's a probability, not a possibility, is a good thing.
It is, but you're not going to get the attention of people with crypto and NFTs and a picture of a tulip going
I
up
don't
for
care.
5 million.
I'm not trying to get anybody's attention. I couldn't care less. I'm looking to allocate, a reasonable bit of my own money and a bigger bit of client money. And I'm looking at getting 35 to 40% compound internal rates of return over 3 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
That seems pretty good to me.
Yeah.
Somebody who understands crypto might do better. I don't. I don't invest in things that I don't understand, where I don't understand the value proposition. The arithmetic around uranium demand is not an algorithm. It is simply the fact that when people walk into a room and flip the switch, they want the light to go on. I can understand that, Antonio. And the consequence of that truth and the fact that when I run net present value calculations on some decent companies at $60 or $70 yellow cake, I see probable triples is good enough for me. The fact that there's a broad part of the internet audience that would prefer to be lied to, that's okay. Somebody else will lie to them. I'm comfortable with that. I think it'll happen.
Yeah. No, that's very, very well said, and I like that. And you and I have discussed individual uranium stocks previously. You've given me your opinion on them, on multiple uranium stocks, multiple times. But with all the bullishness around us, where again, there's people out there calling for $200, $800, heck, even $1,000 uranium.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pointing to myself because I made somewhat of a clickbaity video where I explored the potential for uranium going to $1,200 a pound, but with all that bullishness in uranium, if the physical commodity goes up in price that many times, like 5, 6, 7, 10 times, what I'm wondering is whether it even matters which uranium stocks I own. I mean, surely all of them would go up if that happens, right?
It matters to me a lot because my life is around probabilities. When people say if uranium goes to $200. If that happens, all of my thesis about the fact that it has to go up gets replaced by a new thesis that says it has to go down. $200, you would have an incredible rush of restarts. And you would also do a much better job than you do now extracting, as an example, uranium byproduct from phosphate mining. The supply rush that you'd see sooner rather than later, you would replace a situation in my mind where the price had to go up with a new scenario where the price had to go down. And despite the fact that momentum, which is to say a rush of greater fools, can cause stocks to go from very overvalued to insanely overvalued, the idea that I would be interested in playing that momentum brings us back to fear of missing out, which is to say, deciding that you can be stupid because other people are even dumber than you are. I don't like to characterize myself as being the lead pig in a dumb race.
So you don't think it's enough to just buy the smaller market caps, sit tight, and make
well,
that?
It depends on the smaller market caps. If you're talking about a $30 million market cap, with a deposit that's going to require $100 uranium that is in a location that means it isn't going to get built in this market cycle, that has a $3 million working capital deficit, and has a board of directors that's a butcher, a baker, and a candlestick maker. In effect, you're paying a $20 million market cap for nothing. That people say, what's a $20 million market cap? Well, people who believe that should send me a check. I don't like paying $20 million for nothing. I'd rather pay my proportional share of $6 or $7 billion for something. It is true that in every market cycle, in every sector, there is somebody who is lucky, courageous, and dumb that makes an awful lot of money. And people personalize that because they can identify with being greedy and dumb, at least. And so they identify with the person who was aggressive, greedy, and dumb. But the probability of success associated with exemplifying those three negative traits is very low.
Okay, thank you for reminding me about that. Thank you for reminding me about building your life around probabilities. That makes a lot of sense. And if we're talking about a baseball game, how many innings have we seen already, and how many more do you expect us to see in the uranium market?
Well, in terms of the physical uranium market, well, not the physical uranium market, the spot market, it bottomed at 16?
I think it was 18 in 26. It bottomed at $18 in 2016, right? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so, I guess we're in the third or fourth inning. I guess we're in the third or fourth inning. I think that you're going to see things, at least from my point of view, speed up now. I know that many of your listeners want something to happen next week. That's not the way markets work, or if they do, they work that way accidentally. But if you look just at Sprott's ability to change the market, I think our physical trusts have about 13 billion US dollars in AUM. The Uranium Trust has about 650 million in AUM. The New York Stock Exchange listing is critical to us to empower our existing investor base, which is about 280,000. I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but I suspect in the first year that we're US listed, that it is not unlikely, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's not unlikely that we grow our uranium AUM by $1 billion.
Wow.
If we did that, I suspect that Sprott by itself would use up the remaining uncommitted uranium inventory in the world.